Hello again, watch friends. Welcome back. Does your watch have a secret? No, I don't mean like it was a wedding present or a family heirloom from your grandfather. I mean a watch secret that's part of the watch. Something that may or may not be obvious by looking at the watch, or maybe requires knowing specific details about that particular watch. I have many watches that each have a secret. Some are subtle, some are in plain sight, and some are mysterious. Let me show you. By the way, if you enjoy this or my other videos, please consider subscribing to my channel. It would mean a lot to me if you did. Sometimes a watch's secret is in plain sight, but it's not readily apparent what it is. Other times, it's not so obvious. This Seiko has some of each. First, let's take a look at the dial on my highly legible Seiko 6138-0040 vintage automatic chronograph, nicknamed the Bullhead, from 1975. Back in the 1960s, 1970s, and into the early 1980s, Seiko had two divisions that produced watches. Suwa Seikosha, which is now Seiko Epson Corporation, and Deinai Seikosha, currently Seiko Instruments Incorporated. Seiko cleverly used the two divisions to create the best watches they could by having them compete with each other in technology and production. In the early days, Suwa produced the first Grand Seiko. Most men's watches were produced at Suwa, while most women's watches were made at Deinai. The Suwa division produced this and other 6138 models from the early 1970s until about 1980. The secret here is that, as was a hallmark of Seiko watches of this era, there is a discrete Suwa symbol just above the vertical day-date windows. It's easy to miss, or if you do see it, you may not even know what it is. It's a wonderful but very subtle touch. By the way, here's an example of the Deinai symbol on their watches. The second secret is also visible on the dial, but is really a function of the 6138 movement. Since the caliber 6138 was a second-generation chronograph movement, succeeding Seiko's caliber 6139, which was the world's first automatic chronograph, it had a few upgrades. One was that the day and date could be quick-set independently. Moving the crown to the first position and turning it in one direction advances the day, and turning it in the other direction advances the date. A huge convenience over separate pushers or having to rotate the hands back and forth between 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock to set the date. The third secret also involves the later caliber 6138. This is the biggie, at least for some of us watch collectors and enthusiasts. The movement could now be manually wound. This is not some esoteric function. Manual winding an automatic watch is very useful and allows you to top off the mainspring as needed. My gorgeous Glasuto Original 70s Panorama Date. I like this secret, and it's one of the things that drew me to this watch in the first place. Actually, the large distinctive date digits at 6 o'clock, which give this and other Geo watches their name, Panorama Date, really involves two secrets. Firstly, the digits of the large date, Pano date if you will, have dials on the same plane. That is, they are laid one inside the other. Unlike some watches, such as the A. Lange & Söhne, which have the digit wheels at two different heights, you often need to look straight on to see the date correctly. With the Pano date, there is no disharmony when looking at the date. Regardless of whatever angle you view the date, and whatever date it is, the date looks uniform and pleasing to read with its white numerals on a black background. Secondly, there are always two digits for a date, even for the dates 1 through 9. When the Glasuto Original displays a single date, it's always preceded by a 0 as the first digit. Again, the A. Lange watches have a blank spot for single-digit dates. As much as I enjoy viewing and respect the workmanship of A. Lange watches, that blank spot on the dial looks unbalanced, at least to me, and would probably prevent me from ever owning one of their watches. The Panorama Date, in fact all of the large date watches from Glashütte Original, use the two-digit date approach, which to me looks more balanced and harmonious. Regardless of style, price, or movement therein, any watch can have one or more secrets. My Grand Seiko SBGT 241 25th anniversary piece, celebrating 25 years since the first 9F quartz caliber was introduced, is one such watch. It's no secret that only 1,500 pieces are being made of this high-accuracy quartz watch. It's also no secret that Seiko grows their own quartz crystals, pre-ages them, and only the best, that is, the ones with the highest rate stability, are used for their HAQ watches and for the timing standard on spring-drive watches. The secrets lie on the dial, and they are both subtle and somewhat hidden. From a distance, the dial looks a little like a Grand Seiko snowflake, but something is definitely going on with that dial. Getting closer, you can see that there is some texture or maybe a pattern. Ah, the pattern looks like little GS letters displayed horizontally across the dial. It's a repeating GS9F in honor of the movement. The 241 has a nicely textured and monogrammed dial. That's secret number one, and by itself is pretty cool. Grand Seiko sure knows how to do a dial. Still, there is one more secret, and I'm going to let you in on it. Just to the left of and below the 4 o'clock marker, there is a 9F25, the actual caliber of this piece. Nowhere else on the dial is 9F25. For a watch collector / nerd, especially a Grand Seiko watch collector / nerd like me, that is so cool. My newly acquired Maurice Lacroix masterpiece Rectangulaire Petite Seconds MP7009 from the exclusive Masterpiece Collection has two secrets. One is in plain sight and involves its namesake, the small seconds subdial. As you can see on the dial of this tonneau-shaped watch, the small seconds dial at 6 o'clock looks to be a retrograde complication, where the seconds hand would run from 0 to 30 seconds and then reset back to 0 position by moving backwards to then indicate seconds from 30 to 60. Well, it isn't a retrograde, but it's cool nonetheless. The attractive and innovative semicircular segment design of the small seconds dial has a hand with a short and a long end. The short end of the hand is responsible for the first 30 seconds, and the long end is for the second half of the minute. The clever way to remember this is that the short end points to the scale on the inside of the track, and the long end, where the hand actually extends to the outer scale, is for the second half of the minute. Neat, huh? The second secret is on the back of the watch. The ML126 La Joue Parade movement. One would not expect the high-end caliber. The caliber 736 movement was developed by Jean-Pierre Jacquet on an entry-level luxury watch. This is the manual line Jacquet movement that beats at 21,600 vibrations per hour and has an oversized balance. The elongated design, which conforms to the dimensions of the case, also permits the use of a relatively large barrel, which benefits both power reserve and accuracy. As you have seen, some of these secrets are more secrety than others. Many are easily visible, while others take a little bit of sleuthing to decipher. In either case, I find watch secrets one of the many interesting and enjoyable aspects of watch collecting. Maybe you do as well. What watch secrets do your watches have? Comment below and let us know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.